Hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome to Braveland. So, I know almost nothing about this game. I saw it on Steam. I saw it had a fairly nice, kind of adorable art style. The villagers kind of reminded me of the generic NPCs from Castle Crashers, and you know what? I like that style. So, I figured I'd pick it up and give it a go. So, I guess instead of just kind of blathering about how and why I bought this game, let's just hop right in. So, delete. I played a little bit of it just to get kind of familiar with the controls. We're going to play this on normal. I don't know if it gets that hard, but I figured normal is a pretty good way to go about in game. So, there's some exposition that I'm going to have to read off. You grow up in a small, far-off village where everyone lives a quiet and peaceful life. Woe came suddenly. A ferocious gang of bandits attacked your village. Having plundered your barns and killed anyone who resisted, they disappeared into the darkness. But you are not one to surrender to your fate without a fight. Wearing your father's old armor, you decide to go in pursuit of the villains. Well, that's about the fastest generic RPG fantasy story plotline you could go through, and I guess we're brought straight to kind of an overworld map. One of the reasons why I was kind of drawn to this game is the art style is kind of really nice. The characters are kind of cute and super simple, but I really like this world map style. It's very nice and pseudo-painted, pseudo-vectored. Anyway, judging by the tracks in the bandits are headed east. Let's go after them. Let's go for the... It looks like it's node-based traveling here. Not a whole lot of real-time stuff about this. Okay. Bandits? They're more like animals. We barely got away. We hid in the haystacks until they were gone. Our barns were being robbed while you were busy rolling around in the hay. Because of you, the whole village faces starvation. No, there are no vases involved here. I don't even know why I was going to say that instead. We didn't think of that. What should we do now? We can still catch the bandits. Follow me! We now have 7 peasants following us around. Not entirely sure what kind of militia that makes, but oh well. By the name of Gertrude, my mother. How could we forget? This forest is full of giant wolves. That's enough. A couple of hungry wolves is no match for us. Pitchforks at the ready. I like the little thief design. So, young wolf can handle a sheep, but won't be able to overpower a bull. No special abilities. So, looks to be hex-based movement, and enemies' allies take turns based on probably a speed stat, moving forward and attacking each other. So, I guess pretty easy in the clicking. I'm hoping some of the characters will have more special abilities as we go along, but not entirely sure. It also looks like you've got a little counter that I guess enumerates how many of a specific class you have, because each of the wolves had 1 below them, and each of the peasants had, well, the peasant stack had 7 below them, so 7 peasants. It loses a health bar, you lose 1 peasant. I assume you lose some amount of potential damage from that. Anyway, we look to have gotten 16 gold. Not entirely sure what the heart plus 1 means. We did lose 1 peasant unless he's like in recovery, which is what the money cost is there for. We also get some EXP, which I'm not sure what it does, but I'm sure we'll run into that fairly shortly. So this is a very quick first battle, and I like the expediency going on right now. Let's get over here, talk to this peasant. Oh, I'm just sitting here, waiting in ambush. Likely story. Looks like he aimlessly ran in fear and ended up in the wolf forest. Nothing of the sort. I was only luring the enemies into a trap. That is, I'm not entirely sure if we want that kind of guy to be joining our, I guess, militia, mercenary troop. I don't know, we've got a bunch of dudes with pitchforks running around hoping to take on bandits. Not exactly what I would say the most confidence-inspiring of groups. But, I guess maybe we can get some archers pretty quick. That would be nice. We heard rumors of that your village has been robbed by bandits. Could be true? They took everything we had in store for the winter. They killed anyone who got in their way on the spot. How did they sneak past us? They must have been traveling by night. They were well prepared. That doesn't sound good. Maybe we shouldn't pursue them? No way. They wouldn't get away that easily. We'll help you. A few good archers can go a long way in a battle. Okay, so now we've got 5 archers. Let's go take on some actual bandits. I still feel very bad for these peasants, considering, I mean, they're just dudes with pitchforks that probably should be in a farm than, you know, trying to stick these hardened-looking fellows with the, you know, crisscross scars across their face and the cornrow dreadlock stuff going on. As well as, you know, daggers as opposed to just pitchforks. Anyway. Hey you, bunch of pitiful weaklings, empty your pockets. Oh no, it's Crook-Eyed Sam. Looks like he's been released from prison again. Keep calm. Even a whole gang of robbers cannot defeat us. To arms! You want to do this the hard way? Hehe, this should be interesting. I feel like our character is just, like, completely misestimating how... Okay. Bandit, cunning highway robber. Drops coins after death. 2-star rating. Peon. Pretty much the same thing. Does not shun any work. No special abilities. So Peon is just the evil variant of what we got. But I feel bad for the peasants because, like, they have better things to be doing than this and are probably going to all die in a very horrible manner. So let's use our archers to... I was kind of hoping the archers would actually do more damage than the peasants, but that does not look like it's going to be the case today. Kind of disappointing. But it looks like the training wheels are off and charge with the peasants and attack with the pitchforks. So actually, Cornwallis, the silly-looking dude, isn't nearly as threatening as I thought, and I guess tossing the peasant in between the two bushes was good, because it more or less just made the peon, not an invalid, but made him unable to get around to us, which is pretty nice. And we didn't even lose a single person, so we don't have to spend any money to get any more. Yes, tactics! I like the fast pace of the turn-basedness. That probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but turn-based games can take a very, very long time, and if I can kind of chug through things fairly quickly, then we'll be in the clear. So, you discover a captive in the bandits' camp. Phew! I thought these bandits were going to kill me. Wait a minute. You're Nolan from the West Village. I heard about your father. They say he was a good soldier. Yes, my father taught me a thing or two, although I often skipped out on his training sessions to go listen to the elders' legends. You know, I used to be a pretty good shot, until I got an arrow to the knee. I think I could teach your archers a useful trick. Great, they brought that reference back. It's not like it's one of the most overplayed gaffes on the internet. Anyway, what does he do? Okay, your archers have learned a new ability, Raid Shot, and inflicts increased damage to the target. So, my one concern about this game is it's going to be hideously linear, and the only, like, real difference is going to be whether or not, you know, I lose anybody along the way, which would, you know, reduce my overall battle power. But I guess when it comes down to it, I only paid about $4 for this. I think it's an iOS port, actually, like a port of an iOS game to the PC with no real major changes, which honestly is kind of unfortunate. You'd think they'd, you know, do a little bit more, but at the same time, when it comes down to it, if I can get, you know, maybe a couple hours of content out of this, I'm not going to be too disappointed. We will see. Anyway, it looks to be like a a band of, you know, rogue blacksmiths out to steal our metal bits. Wow, listen to all that metal rattling. We could easily resell it. Let's go, guys. Strip these numbskulls of everything they don't need. Your arrogance is exceeded only by the length of your beard. Let me shorten it for you, so it doesn't get in the way. That was actually a pretty good taunt, honestly. Remind me to threaten more dwarves in that manner. Unfortunately, usually when I play video games, I play as the dwarf, which actually makes me kind of disappointed, because I can't play as a dwarf in this game, yet. So, lightning hammer. That blacksmith has a lightning hammer. Okay. So, it inflicts magic damage by lightning to an enemy at a distance. So he can actually, like, fire his hammer at us. I'm not entirely sure if that's a... Okay. Oh, activate Shot of Fury. And I can hit him all the way across the map? I just murdered that fellow from a very long distance. I think I only get to use him once, though. Which I would say is unfortunate, but when it comes down to it, that's not actually that big of a deal. So that's... Ouch. Okay, so it looks like there's a 3-turn cooldown on the Shot of Fury. Good to know. Well, considering I can't attack, let's just march him very slowly forward. And our peon has absolutely nothing as far as, like, special abilities go, so not so great. And, you know, take this opportunity to get some arrows peppered into this dude. I'd like to prevent myself from losing too many on the archers, but let's pop the peasant up here, and I'm gonna actually shift. Okay, first we're gonna use Shot of Fury, see if I can take this guy out, or at least in a substantial way, and then, oh, nuts. I guess this works out. I can Okay, there we go. I guess that worked out a heck of a lot better than I thought it would. And apparently his arrows shoot across the map. I wasn't entirely, like, there's no true confirmation on whether or not that would actually work. So I'm going to pop him back here, use the peasants as a shield, because I'm willing to bet that the peasants cost way less money to fix up than the archers. Could be wrong, not entirely sure, but we didn't lose anybody anyway, so there we go. We got a lot of money. Now we've got, I presume these thieves are actually going to join us. And yeah, he looks far more friendly than any of the other thieves we've run into as of yet. So, let's see. Are you from the robbed village? We saw carts carrying all kinds of goods with our very own eyes. I don't think you... We saw them with our ears. We have freaky ears. These bandits were well armed and organized, and their leader was a mercenary, a stern warrior. Carts, mercenaries. It's no wonder they took us by surprise. They were prepared well in advance. Yes, I think I can track them down. There's a path through the forest. We will show you the way. So now we got some trackers. Oh, they're trackers, not thieves. Well, interesting distinction, considering they've got 2 knives, and usually when I think of a tracker, I think of like a hunter with a dog or something like that. Anyway, they're coming after us to get their precious stuff back. The commanders heard the rumors that a bunch of peasants are on our tail. Fools! We will destroy you. So your leader thinks that we could be stopped by a handful of unskilled archers? If we can't take you by skill, we will take you by numbers. I thought that was my line, considering we've been kind of wiping people out sheerly based on, like, gusto and excessive numbers. So, vagrant archer became a robber after barely learning how to shoot. Shoots, sometimes misses. So, we're essentially just up against a bunch of joke enemies. Let's, I guess, use that to our advantage and pop ourselves possibly behind a tree trunk. Actually, I don't think I can use anything for cover, which is kind of disappointing. So let's just wipe out... See if I can wipe this guy out. See how many... Okay, so we only took out 1 archer. Not an ideal situation, but it'd be hilarious if they can never hit me at all. It is also kind of disappointing because these guys don't feel like particularly threatening in comparison to, you know, most of the other... I'm not going to say most of the other enemies, but the previous, you know, indie game that I randomly bought on a whim was Card City Knights. And even from the get-go, a lot of the enemies felt like they were, you know, built to be at least threatening or interesting. And in this case, the enemies feel very, you know, dumbed down to make it easier. I feel like maybe I should see if I can actually boost up the difficulty. But then again, maybe it's one of those games where the beginning is, you know, stupid easy, and then it gets substantially harder from then on out. It's one of those where I would hate to get to the very end of the game and be like, oh, turns out, yeah, I had to reduce the difficulty because I'm a wimp. And that's, you know, not a fun thing to admit at all. And we lost a peasant, not the end of the world, because at this point our melee people are just kind of in here getting with the pig sticking. And they're substantially better at pig sticking than anybody else. So I'm just going to use the archer to pick off, you know, the side guys, because I've noticed the archer does substantially less damage than the other 2 melee dudes. Which makes sense. If range damage did, you know, a crazy amount of damage, well then I just have an entire line of archers back here, and, you know, screw tactics, I've got storm of arrows. And I think I can take that guy out in 1 shot. The answer is no, but I guess I'm severely overestimating how powerful the archer is. So I think we lost one of the trackers earlier on. It's kind of hard to say, but it's only a slight gold penalty, so it's not that big of a deal. Oh, okay, so we only lost 2 peasants, but cost us 10 gold to get them back. Not that bad. And I think we've managed to get up to level 2. I think. Leadership plus 20. So I can either increase the attack of all of my guys or the defense of them. I'm going to go with defense. I'm not entirely sure if, like, what the overall, like, stat distribution is going to be, but with any luck it'll actually be pretty good. And with that, that's probably a pretty good stopping point. We've, you know, battled a couple of things, tried out some new classes, and, you know, we've leveled up, which is kind of... It looks to be the only level of customization available in this game, which honestly is kind of unfortunate. But again, like I said, it's an iOS port of a game, so I'm not expecting too terribly much. So, I guess with that, this has been Wanderbot playing Bravely Default, and I think I'll be back for at least a couple more episodes. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to complete this game, but I'd like to see if I can get like a wizard or something and see if I can get some like real tactical combat going, as opposed to semi, generic tactical linear nonsense that we have been running into as of late. And if, fairly simplistic tactical games are your thing, then I'd say this is actually probably going to be a pretty good game, but I'd say pick it up on the tablet, because the PC edition does not seem to be that much of an edition at all. So, I mean, pick your poison. It's not a bad game, it's definitely pretty. It's just not, it doesn't stand out that much. But, you know what? If it is your thing, I'd recommend picking it up, because it's got nice quality. And now I'm rambling as though I'm doing a review of it, and what I'm really doing is a Let's Play. So, I will see you guys on the next episode of Braveland, and as always, thanks for watching.